Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here with an update for The Walking Dead. Over the last couple of days, we've been having some information get released about all sorts of things relating to The Walking Dead. So I combined them all, and I'm going to talk about all of them in this video today. So we're going to have a bunch of different little discussions. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff did come out over the last couple of days, which we're going to discuss in this video. Before I do begin, though, I guess a general spoiler warning in case you aren't caught up with The Walking Dead. We're not going to get too spoilery or anything like that, but I always say that just in case. And then also, if you're a fan of the show, be sure to subscribe for more content. But with all that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so we got a number of topics to talk about. That's a tongue twister. Anyways, yeah, so we got some Fear the Walking Dead, some Walking Dead, some Rick movie stuff, a bunch of stuff. So we're gonna start off with the Fear the Walking Dead stuff. So Fear the Walking Dead, I talked about this in a different video. I made a video just a few days ago talking about Lennie James and how what's going to be happening to him because he has a new show and everything like that. And then he was talking about Fear the Walking Dead, and he was discussing saying that there is a possibility of him to return to the main show, but he kind of teased saying that he's gonna have to survive Fear the Walking Dead season 5 first, because, or I guess you could say season 6, because we know he's gonna be like in the beginning of season 6. To get into exactly what he said, I'll go ahead and read the quote. He said, "I particularly miss it when I hear from my mates who are still on the show, and I just remember the good times we had." He continued, "I also really miss Atlanta. I fell in love with the city, and I made friends there who had nothing to do with the show. Might I ever be invited back to The Walking Dead? Maybe. The ghost of Morgan." So that's kind of funny. Obviously, you can't give it away, but I think he's gonna survive. I'm not gonna talk too much about this topic because I have a whole video talking about Morgan. I just wanted to update it with this. But if you want to go check out the Morgan video, by all means, go ahead. But let me know in the comments down below what you think is gonna happen to Morgan. I think he's gonna survive. Next, we got some information about season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead, like what's it gonna be like. And now, I don't know how fans are gonna feel about this, but the director of photography, aka the cinematographer, said that it's gonna be like an anthology. This is exactly what he had to say. He said, "The beginning of the season becomes somewhat of an anthology," he explained. "Each character has their own perspective with regards to the way they saw their involvement within the world and within each other's lives, as well as the dynamic between their relationships, good and bad." So yeah, that's a very interesting point, because that I was kind of curious about that, because in the trailer it does look like they are separate, and they are separate because at the end of last season they all went like separate cars and stuff like that. So the reason I say I don't know how fans will feel about this is because The Walking Dead, not even Fear the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead doesn't have very good history with splitting up characters and one episode being about one character, one episode being about another character. So I mean, it could work. There's definitely been episodes about certain characters, and it could work. And I think for Fear the Walking Dead, it potentially could actually work because the show is or like the characters, there's not too many characters, and the characters are all interesting. I've been saying that for a long time. Like, the story is not, it's not as best as it could be, but the characters are really interesting, and I do think if the story is good this season, I think it could work like that. So it's gonna be really cool, and it's interesting how it says here each character has their own perspective with regards to the way they saw their involvement. So maybe yeah, and this is like the dynamic between relationships, good and bad, all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they're all not on the same page. Maybe some characters like the way this lady does stuff, some of them don't. It's gonna be interesting to see how they how this affects everybody, and I'm excited for this based on what he said, because I think, again, the characters are the strongest point of the series. I mean, again, the story is not that good. So if there's stuff going on between the characters, that's great, because that's, for me, is the most exciting stuff. So I'm excited for, I mean, that trailer was pretty good. So I am pretty excited for this episode, or the season, I should say, of Fear the Walking Dead. All right, next, I want to talk about something that, well, has to do with the Rick Grimes movie, but it does go a little bit even beyond that. But I'm sure a lot of people have seen the articles now that the Rick Grimes movie might not be in theaters anymore. Now, in case you don't know, a little bit of a background on that. So basically what happened is that Universal, which is the distributor for the Rick Grimes movie, is having problems at some of the major, theaters like AMC and Regal, because they were upset that Universal put a lot of their movies on VOD. Instead of postponing them, which would, because they postponed, because a lot of the big movies, other big movies got postponed, Universal put some of their movies on VOD, which the movie theaters were a little bit upset about because they weren't, I guess the movie theaters are going to be upset about that because they would have lost money or something. But the three big movies they're talking about is Trolls World Tour, which I get because the first Trolls did make some good money, I guess, so maybe that's why they're upset. But The Invisible Man and The Hunt, now those two movies were already in theaters before this whole thing happened, which, I saw those movies in theaters, so those movies getting put on VOD, that makes sense because you can't postpone a movie that was already in theaters. So I think the biggest problem is the movie Trolls World Tour, which again, the first movie made some good money, so I guess the movie theaters are upset that they quickly put that on VOD instead of postponing it, which to me, I don't see this this is a problem right now. Like AMC and Regal are talking about how they're not going to put Universal movies in their theaters anymore, which that's when the Rick Grimes thing comes in, because Universal is distributing a Rick Grimes movie. So that would mean the Rick Grimes movie wouldn't be in AMC or a Regal cinema, which, again, I don't think this is going to last too long because Universal is one of the biggest distributors. Like, they're the people who are distributing the James Bond movies, the Fast and the Furious movies. Those are movies that make like $1 billion easy. So I'm sure they're gonna resolve this, because I don't think AMC and Regal are gonna want movies like James Bond and Fast and Furious to be playing in their theaters, because everybody goes to see those movies. So again, I would be really shocked if this actually goes through and AMC and Regal will never play a Universal movie in their theaters again. Like, I would be so shocked if that happens. Like, that would be quite something, over Trolls. Like, that would be insane. So I think it's gonna get resolved, and I think the Rick Grimes movie will be being played in theaters. A lot of people are let me know what you guys think about that, because I am still seeing some people say they don't want the Rick Grimes movie in theaters. They'd rather have it at home, which I totally get, but if they have Universal backing them up on this is probably a really big project, a very ambitious project that I don't think it's going to be like only an hour and a half, because some Walking Dead episodes are like 70 minutes. So I don't think it's going to be like 20 minutes longer than the usual episode. I think it's going to be a pretty big spectacle. Again, especially since they have Universal backing them up. So I really want to see it in theaters. So hopefully this gets resolved quickly, or at least when movie theaters reopen. Let me know what you guys think about that. If the Rick Grimes movie goes in theaters, will you see it, or are you gonna wait and see it on TV? Because I'm sure, even though it's gonna be in theaters, I'm sure it's gonna end up being on TV or Netflix or AMC, like maybe in a couple of weeks or something like that. I don't see the Rick Grimes movie being in theaters for months, like a regular movie would, just because there's like a specific audience for the Rick Grimes movie. Like, I don't know if you guys watched Downton Abbey, but that's a TV show that recently, or last year, came out with a movie, like a movie version of the show, like continuing the show. And that was in theaters. Like, I remember the Dolby Cinema, like the biggest movie, auditorium in my AMC was playing that movie. So, and that movie wasn't in theaters too long. So I could see a situation like that with the Rick Grimes movie. So let me know what you guys think about that. Hopefully it comes in theaters, because I think seeing it in theaters would be pretty cool. But the last thing I want to talk about is an interview with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's been having a lot of interviews. I think it's because he has a talk show right now on AMC. It's like Friday Nights In with the Morgans. He and his wife have a show. But a lot of people are talking about season 11 or in season 10 finale, what's going on with that. And then he said this, which is kind of funny, like, it's an effing mystery when season 11 starts filming, because how is he supposed to know? I mean, they're asking him this, but no one knows anything. Like, no one knows what's happening, We just have to wait for things to get better, which obviously Jeffrey Dean Morgan does not have the answer to. So he said it's an effing mystery when season 11 starts filming. And then when they asked him about when we're going to see the season 10 finale, he said this. I'm gonna go ahead and read the quote, but he said, "We had a fun time filming it," says Morgan at the Walking Dead finale. "I'd tell you that, but I do not know when they're going to finish it. I reckon 4 or 5 months from now we'll get to see it, which is cool. It will be cool having a one-off, almost like a Walking Dead movie in the middle of the season, I guess. So we're excited about that aspect of it." So he said that, and I think a lot of people started freaking out, like 4 or 5 months, that's way too long. I'll tell you what, if 4 or 5 months we'll see it, I don't think you're gonna wait 4 or 5 months. I think you're just gonna air it like after, like right before the season 11 premiere. I think 4 or 5 months is too long for them to do like a one-off. I think you're just gonna wait until, I mean, 5 months from now, that's literally October, so they're gonna wait. If it's actually gonna be that long, they're probably gonna wait until the the premiere of season 11 airs. But again, we just have to wait till things get better. But I think he just said 4 or 5 months because he's guessing. Like, I don't think he really knows, because Angela King had an interview talking about post-production, and she said that they got through a week and a half of post-production and they were really close to being done. So it just depends when things get better. So that could be 1 month, that could be 4 or 5 months. So no one's really wrong here. It's just that no one knows. So we'll see what happens. But I think if it doesn't come out by August, they'll probably just wait until the premiere. Like, I don't think they're gonna do like a one-off in September. I think it'll be better to just wait until the premiere of season 11 and then air it like a week before then, or like immediately right before the premiere, which would be pretty cool. So let me know what you guys think about that. But just quickly, I wanted to give an update video because we did get some little information about all sorts of things. So I wanted to combine them in this one video. But as far as this goes, I am gonna wrap it up there. So again, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. I hope you guys all did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. And I hope you guys are all doing well. Please stay safe, wash your hands, stay indoors, and hopefully things can get better sooner rather than later. And again, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. And if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to subscribe for more content. And I'll see you guys soon.